Countries like Russia and China and Iran are not our friends, and their interests are not our interests. You look at the influence of foreign governments within ICANN. It should give us greater and greater concern.
The transition to ICANN doesn't strengthen the role of Russia and China and Iran in any central function of the Internet. In fact, making this transition to a private entity is the best way to prevent Russia and others from being successful in their argument that it should instead be transitioned to the UN.
Hey, there I am. We did that last night. Welcome to the Friday Lightning Round. That is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. It transfers tomorrow. We're back with the panel. This gets complicated, but there are people like Senator Cruz, a list of Republicans actually, it's not just him, who have a real problem with this, Howie. And you heard Senator Coons there saying this is an effort to internationalize, but also it is a private sector nonprofit, and there shouldn't be this ominous overview of it. What about this?
I understand the concern, and it plays well politically. I'm not wild about the U.S. surrendering control of Internet names, and countries like China or Russia may be having more of a say potentially. But you look back on it, it's unrealistic to think that America could maintain a monopoly on this forever. And in fact, this transition has been in the works for 2 decades.
Nina.
Well, I think there's real concern about it, legitimate concern, and actually some state attorney generals are trying to bring an action on it. There's real concern about the United States, which believes in free Internet access, ceding control to a world in which a Freedom House study showed 28% are completely control their Internet, 29% don't control it at all, and the rest are somewhere in between. So it's not just China and Russia and stuff. There's a lot of countries that have controls of various measures on there. So I think there's, and this is controlling domain names. This means like foxnews.com.
Yeah, but .mil and .gov too.
It could be, you know, stolen, used, abused. So I think there's, and before this happened, there was commerce. Our Commerce Department had oversight over that. We lose that now.
The supporters say the rest of the world was getting antsy, that we were controlling it. But you know, the people who have a problem with this say this is the camel nose under the tent.
Yes, and we will find out soon enough how far under the tent the camel's nose has gotten, because it's sound in theory to say it's all being turned over to the private sector, but the issue is in a lot of these countries, particularly China, private sector companies are not truly private sector. They've got Communist Party or government backing behind them, and it's going to be on the U.S. private sector and Western European private sector to act as a check on them.
All right, quickly down the row about a preview of the VP debate. I don't think anybody's looking at it as a barn burner, but who knows?
It's bland versus bland, I guess, but what I expect to see happen is both of them turning the whole thing around into a discussion of the principles on the respective tickets. Mike Pence is going to go after Hillary Clinton, and Tim Kaine is going to go after Donald Trump, and I expect Tim Kaine especially to try and shame Mike Pence, you know, as a conventional Republican politician, shaming him for having agreed to go on this ticket with someone like Donald Trump.
Could we get some policy in there someplace?
I was going to say, I think this is going to be heavy on policy. Are we going to get 85 million viewers, 85 million viewers? Don't think so. I think it's going to be cool, calm, collected. Not a lot of sparks are going to fly, and yeah, a lot of policy.
Quickly.
I think the reason there's so little focus on this is not just because of the crazy race at the top of the ticket, but because Trump and Clinton made good choices. Tim Kaine and Mike Pence are widely seen as very qualified for VP, or if they have to move to the top job. Therefore, there isn't the debate we often see about could this person be a heartbeat away.
We'll see. All right, quickly, winners and losers. Winner first.
Well, Alicia Machado, nobody had ever heard of this former Miss America. Now she's been all over TV. She's been attacked by Donald Trump.
Miss Universe.
She's a household name. Miss Universe, excuse me. And she's a household name, and perhaps she gets a reality show out of it. My loser, or go ahead, loser, Howard Dean, the former presidential candidate, a doctor, ex-governor, ex-party chairman, made the ludicrous and despicable charge against Donald Trump that, well, he might just be a cocaine user because he was sniffling during the debate. It took him days, but the MSNBC contributor has now finally apologized today.
The Trump people insinuate that it was the microphone that picked up his heavy breathing, but go ahead.
So my winner is UK Prime Minister Theresa May. There was actually a report that came out that the British economy was doing better than expected post-Brexit. And so I think this gives her a lot of running room as she tries to manage this sticky divorce from the EU going forward. My loser is Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson. We saw Last week, he didn't know what Aleppo was. This week, he was asked by Chris Matthews just to name a foreign leader he admires, any dead, alive, you know, this continent, that continent, any couldn't. So I think this is going to be fodder. Just watch. I think these are going to be Hillary Clinton PAC ads used against him to drive down those numbers, because she does better on a one-on-one match with Trump.
Right. Winner and loser.
Well, with my usual keen grasp of the obvious, I went for my winner being Hillary Clinton and my loser being Donald Trump for the obvious reason, Monday's debate, where Trump really, although he came out fairly steady in the first 30 minutes, kind of melted down thereafter, and as our polls show tonight, she really capitalized.